welcome to Grain by Grain Artist Stories. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to start off with an icebreaker. So, between noodles, rice, and bread, what would you kiss, marry, and kill?
Okay, pretty easy.
Oh.
Kill bread. Wait, no. Kiss noodles, marry rice, kill bread.
Why?
I cannot live without rice.
Okay.
Yeah,
fair.
I've had this argument so many times with so many friends.
Yeah.
Of like, I feel like I could live without bread happily.
Okay.
And then noodles, it's like, yeah, I like it sometimes and I would miss it, but it's like also can go without it.
Oh.
But rice, yeah.
Like plain rice. Because you can eat it with anything.
Yeah.
Is that why?
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know, I just have this thing where I need like to have rice every few days, or I feel like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right.
I see. Okay. Interesting.
No rice, no life.
Oh, I mean, even though my thing is called Plain Rice Studios, I think I can go without rice.
Damn.
I'm a bread girly.
You're a bread girly?
Yeah, because it's
fair.
like you can have salty bread and sweet bread.
That's true.
Right? You can have dessert.
You could have salty rice and sweet rice.
That's
if you think
true.
of like rice cakes, sticky rice.
That's true. And like
but
glutinous rice.
But I get what you mean.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. All right, so I'm going to get started now. Tell us about your artist journey so far. How did you start?
I guess we'll go like way, way back. I feel like I've always done art since I was a kid. Like I've been doing polymer clay as a hobby since I was like maybe like 11 or 12.
No
way. Like
I
had an old school DeviantArt, like I had an old YouTube channel, and like I was just constantly making clay growing up.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you get started into clay? Like, because I feel like I didn't see clay until like my 20s. Do you know what I mean? Like, how did you, as such a young
I was really into, do you know those Japanese blind boxes called remints?
I don't.
They're like just the classic blind box, but instead of like a little figurine, they're like little food toys, or it's like this whole setup where it's like a kitchen and you've got the pot and the food and the table, and so I was really into those as a kid. But because I feel like Australia, or like at least Sydney, didn't have, like, it wasn't trendy yet, so there wasn't any imported stuff for that, I guess. I was like, how could I satisfy this need? And then I like searched up miniature whatever on YouTube, and then I think one of the first few videos that came up was like a tutorial on how to make them with clay, and then I just went down the rabbit hole from there.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So you started this when you were like
I think like 11 or 12.
11 or 12.
Yeah. So I've always been doing it as a hobby and like a love for it. But I think as I've gotten older, my like the type of things I wanted to make out of clay changed, and it turned into more like magnets and pins and, you know, keychains and accessories. And I was like, oh, I've got like all this stuff and not a whole lot to do with it. Like I can't just have a box of like clay things I made just piling up and up and up. And so I think when I was in like year 10, I was like, oh, what can I do with this? Maybe I'll try selling them.
She started young.
She started young.
Businesswoman
but also,
at like 15. Wow.
But also didn't, like, it was still a hobby of like, oh, like I can make my clay things and I can get a little bit of, you know, fun money, like pocket money out of it. And so I think I like did Etsy, and I did, I think, Smash in 2016 or 17.
How old were you then?
Like 17.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so I was like doing all these things for fun. And I'd always seen it as a hobby. But I think about 2 years ago, I had the graphic design job. So I had a graphic design job that I did for a year for a gaming company, and then realized that, one, the 9-to-5 life, not the greatest fit for me.
Okay.
And also, two, I think having a creative career that was quite rigid wasn't good for me either.
Okay.
And so I think I sat with myself and I was like, oh, like, I love being creative. Like, what could I do?
Yeah.
And then that's when I made the decision to do this more seriously.
Okay.
And so that's the whole timeline, I think, leading up to now. And
Wow.
yeah.
So you mentioned that you didn't feel like the 9 to 5 was quite for you. Can you tell me more about that? Like, what were you feeling?
So I think the 9 to 5 and the rigidness of like, or the rigidity of that graphic design, like in a corporate context could have, I think, sort of go hand in hand of like, it's not the 9 to 5, like 5 days a week work that's hard. I think it's more just the context that it's in of like, being a graphic designer is a creative job and it can be creatively fulfilling for some people, but I feel like I really sort of like working on my own terms, I guess, when it comes to making art.
Yes.
And I do like collaborating, and I do like sort of bouncing ideas off of each other, but I still think like in a corporate sense there are still strict rules you have to follow. There's like brand pitch decks and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And I think that was the hard part for me. And another thing would be like, I'd use all my creative energy on that, and then I'd come home and want to do things I'm more passionate about and not have energy to do it. And so I think that sort of stuff like made me think like, oh, maybe I don't align well.
Right.
Like I don't feel creatively fulfilled with my job, but because my energy is spent there, I can't find the fulfillment in my own work.
Yeah. That makes sense. So what were some of the things that you did for your graphic design job?
Mostly like marketing stuff. So I think I just made a lot of like social deliverables and like pretty basic work of like, I actually forgot the like professional terminology for it, but basically, like socials that followed like a strict branding like layout, and also they give you like these game assets for like the posters, and you basically just resize them into like, this one's going to be used for the profile picture of the game, this one's going to be used for the banner, like so it's just resizing the same artwork. Yeah. I think that was mostly, I didn't get a lot of creative freedom at that job.
That's fair. That makes sense. Okay, so then you mentioned that about 2 years ago you realized that wasn't quite for you. And then where did you go after that?
Yeah, so I think after that I was like, oh, I still do want to be secure, but also explore my art more. So the arrangement I had or I've been having was to just have a part-time job that was sort of not creative related at all. So I was doing medical admin work.
Oh, okay.
And then, so I'd do that part-time, and then I was working on my art part-time as well.
Oh, so how many days would you be working?
3 days.
3 days.
I'd be working, and then the rest, including weekends, would have been for my art.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, so what was your week? Like, what did your week look like?
Usually it would be, I would never follow it well because I feel like I would end up just working on art for the rest of the week. But the arrangement that I wanted to have was 3 days of part-time work and then 3 days of art and then a day off.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, a birdie recently told me that you are now doing art
full-time.
So, can you tell me a bit more about that? Like, how did you come to that decision? And I know it's only been like really recent, but how has it been going so far?
It's been good. Like, I think I realized while I was doing the part-time arrangement that I feel like I'm not the best at multitasking in a sense, because I feel like with the arrangement that I have of the week, where it was like I was working on and off throughout the week, I couldn't focus on both things very well, and so it sort of felt like I was good at neither,
Oh, okay.
And that tied in with I think just the constant yearning for like, oh, I wish I had these, 3 days where I'm at work. I wish I was working on my art instead.
Yeah.
And so I think just with a lot of like trial and error throughout the last 2 years and, talking to people, talking to my partner and my family about it, I think everyone was very supportive on me trying to do it full time and like do everything on my terms from like Monday to Friday. And so, yeah, I made the decision, I think it's been less than a month.
Okay. So recent.
Yeah, it's so recent.
Yeah.
And so far, like it's been really good. I've had a lot of learning lessons from it so far.
Yeah.
Of both like, oh, like I get to try all these things that like I wanted to try but didn't have enough time to do, which has been really nice and like fulfilling already. But also very quickly learned that I do put a lot on my plate, and even having full time is not enough time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So lots of, I think they're all positives though, of
Yeah.
like reassessing and like being able to try things that I thought I couldn't do time-wise, and then also learning like, oh, it goes beyond that of like, it's just my time management that I need to fix.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you have started
So
trying?
I've been doing a reel series. Yeah, so I posted the start of it yesterday, which has been a bit scary, but I'm doing a reel series that documents my prep for Seoul Illustration Fair that I'm doing in, I think, a month's time now. Yeah. So it'll be, yeah, I've just been documenting it. I've split it up, I think, into like 4 to 5 parts.
Okay.
And I think those sorts of things were things I couldn't do, where I do like making videos and documenting my process.
Yeah.
But because the creating is priority, like most times, I sort of put that to the side and just focused on making things. But it's been nice to be able to do both.
Oh,
like,
that's good.
Yeah, because it's like 2 different creative things, but sort of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's something that I struggle with as well. But like, how do you split your time between like creating content versus creating for your actual stuff?
The way I've been doing it so far, and I'll let you know how it goes, is I've structured it into blocks.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to try to keep maintaining said like the structure and see where it takes me. But the way I've done it so far is I do like maybe 2 to 3 weeks of creating and documenting, and then on like the last week or the week like on the 4th week, say, I spend that week just editing all the stuff I've like documented and putting the content out.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I think it allows structure of what you're doing and sort of what you're documenting as well. Because you're like, oh, okay, I'll film this much and then I'll edit all of that and it'll be about this topic and have it out by the 4th week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So overall, like, what are all the things that you have to do in terms of like running your business? So like we talked about content creation and the actual making of things. What are the other things that you have to do?
I think probably marketing, like social media, and I guess content creation like comes hand in hand with that. Where, for me, I find making content, or I've been trying to make content as fulfilling as making art.
Yeah.
Because I feel it's a pretty slippery slope as an artist, and having your art be like a business as well.
Yeah.
Of like skewing the lines of, oh, I'm making content for fun, but I also have to advertise with like, I have to promote my work. So yeah, I forgot the question.
No,
sorry.
no, that's okay. I just was curious, like, as a small business owner, what are all the things that you need to do behind the scenes?
So definitely, I guess, marketing. And I think other than that, like, I think those are the 3 main things that I focus on, of like creating actual work, creating content for it, and then effectively marketing it with
Yeah.
the content that you make.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, isn't it?
And I guess markets as well.
Yes. Preparing for markets. Yeah. Okay. So for those who don't know what working with clay is like, can you tell us a bit about your process?
Yeah.
And what that's like? And I'm imagining, especially like when you need to prep for markets, I can't imagine like creating each single thing and hand making everything. Because for me, I draw something and then I just like mass produce it on my printer. So yeah, tell us what is that like?
Yeah, so I work with polymer clay, which is I think a little bit easier, I'd like to think at least, than ceramics.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a faster clay medium from what I've seen.
Okay, how so?
I think polymer clay is easier in the sense that you can make it at home and it can be done within the day if you really tried.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so in the context of a market, I would set maybe a week to make things, a week or two to make things.
You only need a week or two.
If I'm really locked in on making clay and like churning it out, I think let's say generously 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would spend a few days sculpting all the pieces that I want to sell at this market.
Yeah.
And then I would then immediately use my small toaster oven to bake them.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then afterwards I would spend another few days painting them.
Yeah.
And then another few days glazing and assembling all of them.
Yeah.
And then they're done.
Wow.
Yeah.
You make it sound so easy.
It's really not. I really should. I try to simplify it, but I think in between, like, you get a lot of like trial and error of like clay can burn if you bake it too long or too hot in the oven. Because it's more of a plastic material than a stone material.
Okay.
So there is risk of burning if you don't have your oven settings right. Painting, of course, I think it's the same struggles you can have with painting on a piece of paper. It's just that it's on a really small, tiny thing, and also, I need to use like a magnifying glass most times so that I don't have my eyes go bad when I'm painting like the smaller details.
Yeah.
And then UV resin is very, very hard to work with, but I feel like over the years I've found a method that works better and works for me.
Yeah.
So I think I've been able to sort of shorten the time it takes to make these, like the steps, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So how many would you say you'd be able to make in a day?
In a day, it really depends. I think if I'm making my clay like pins and magnets, I could probably make maybe 5 in a day.
Okay.
Yeah, but if it's more of the detailed like tarts and like more realistic food stuff, I think I could only make maybe 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then to have, I guess you mentioned like how I'm making individual pieces for markets rather than mass producing. I guess the pro and con of that, it's like really fun being able to make this unique handmade piece, but when it's sold, when someone buys it, it's gone, and I have to go through all that process again to make more.
Wow, never ends.
A little bit. Yeah.
So you mentioned like if it goes to the oven, if it's like too hot or something, it might burn. What's the usual like percentage of defects would you say like during your process would occur?
I think nowadays it's very rare. I think I think I have like maybe 1 or 2 that go bad in a batch of like 30.
Okay, that's pretty good.
And I think it's because I spent so much time like trying to get better at each step and not make mistakes and fine tune that process. So very glad I don't have mistakes, but I definitely have burnt a whole batch in the past. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow, a lot of hard work and effort went into perfecting that process. Yeah. So in terms of like, I don't know how much this applies, but in terms of like finding your style, how have you come about that?
I still feel like I don't have a style. But
Really?
yeah, but I think that's the never ending journey of an artist of I think you're constantly evolving and you're constantly finding your style. I think I definitely see more consistencies in my work lately, but in the context of like, am I satisfied and do I feel like I've found my style? I'd say not quite yet.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think so far what I've been doing to try to like explore that and continue like expanding on it is just consistently like drawing things that I like. So
Yeah.
I like using sort of warm colors. I like using traditional mediums. I like drawing little animal forest friends and doing lots of like nature and botanical based stuff.
Yeah.
And so I guess sticking with that and then like practicing and figuring out different textures and lines and styles, I think is probably how I would say I'm finding it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Is that more of like the illustrating side?
I think the same goes for clay because I try to sort of have consistency with all the mediums I'm using. And I think that's another thing of like, I think I'm still finding that because I feel my clay pieces are a lot more vibrant than my illustrations. I think my illustrations are I'd like to think are a little bit on the warmer, more muted side.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I try to keep it consistent. Like I use the same sort of paints for my clay pieces as I do with my illustrations. And so, yeah.
Okay. So do you have any like artists that really inspire you right now, both for illustration and for clay?
As of the moment, I think with illustrations, I'm really inspired by an artist called Rebecca Green.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a children's book illustrator from the States, and their work's very lovely. Like they use really nice textures with gouache.
Okay.
Yeah, and their like color theory understanding's really nice, and they usually draw a lot of scenes of like cute sort of anthropomorphic foresty animals.
Yeah.
And then with clay, I think I've been obsessed with Julia from Melbourne, Juhua on Instagram.
I have no internet right now.
No.
Yeah. Wait, does she table with egg soda?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
So she was at Mellow this year.
Yeah.
And she's a Melbourne-based ceramicist, and I'm obsessed with her work. Yeah.
That's so cool because I love her illustrations.
I love her illustrations too, actually. Yeah, I'd say that sort of like the way artists do busy scenes and they're really, really vibrant. Like I think that's so impressive.
It is so impressive. I'm like, how does your brain even come up with that sort of stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say those are my two biggest inspirations at the moment.
Yeah. So when you find an inspiration, because I think there's something that I've been struggling with lately, but like, how do you still try to involve your own style while having that inspiration? Yeah, I don't know if my question makes sense.
No, it does. I think, say for Rebecca Green, I think it's a little bit easier, for the lack of a better word, because she offers a Patreon where she shows her process.
Yes.
And so it's nice to see, like, how someone goes from concept to finished illustration.
Yeah.
And with her in particular, she uses traditional medium. So I think my focus in getting inspiration is just seeing how she uses her color choices and how she uses her texture and technique with painting. So I think that's like one way I gain inspiration. And I think otherwise it's more just finding a collection of artists that have the same, not the same, but sort of permeate the same color schemes and vibes and sort of the stories they tell with their illustration sort of resonate with me in the same way.
Yeah.
I look for that in inspiration, and
Yeah.
I guess I just sort of try to get the feeling that I get when I see their work and
Yeah.
recreate it with my own.
Yeah. I see. Oh, that's so cool. Okay. Do you have any like guiding principles when it comes to making your own art?
Could you elaborate?
I guess like, so you talked about like warm colors and the feelings that you want to evoke. So I guess, yeah, like what are your own guiding principles when it comes to making your art? What do you want to achieve out of the little things that you make? Yeah.
I think I like just evoking like a cozy feeling with my work. Anything that feels like cozy and warm and comforting, I think I try to put into my work as well, because the art that I consume from other artists is sort of give me that feeling as well.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a strong principle that I have. And otherwise, I think I just have like at the moment, I think I have very much like trying to be a sponge and take in a lot of like art theory and color theory and sort of, that sort of vibe at the moment.
Okay. And where are you sponging all of this from?
Lots of the Patreon, obviously, and also trying to go through like art theory books and learning principles with like just fundamentals, I guess, of drawing and I haven't dipped my toe in it yet, but definitely exploring color theory more. So I think I have a bit more of a theory approach to it, I guess. Yeah, and then seeing where that takes me.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Have you had any formal art training before?
No, other than high school, like pretty standard. And then I have a really talented friend that does illustrations as well, and she taught a few fundamental classes. And so
nice.
I learned through her for a little while, which I think kickstarted that like wanting to be theory based in like exploring my work, because I feel like it worked for me. So.
Yeah. Ooh, she's self-taught. She's self-taught.
With a bit of hand holding from other people.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So before you mentioned about, sorry, what was it? Seoul?
Illustration Fair?
Yeah. Tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah. So I feel like I've always had my eye on it because I love like the illustration and general appreciation for cute things space that Korea has.
Yes.
And I think initially it was a event that I would have wanted to attend and see, you know, what was going on in Korea.
Yeah.
But I had a sudden urge, like earlier this year, of, well, what would it take for me to apply?
Yeah.
And there were applications open earlier this year for their end of year markets, and I sort of, you know, half jokingly, half seriously applied.
Yeah.
Not expecting a whole lot, and then I got in,
Yay!
which is really good.
Woo!
But it's basically a huge event that they do full of, I think, at least maybe 1,000 or shy of 1,000 artists and illustrators.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and everyone comes and has a booth where they table, and it ranges from, you know, people selling things like stationery, illustrations, merchandise, pretty like, I guess, standard art market stuff, to people actually booking a booth out to sort of market themselves as an artist or as an illustrator. So they don't have any physical goods that they're selling, but they sort of like showcase their work and try to get into the industry or the creative industry that they want to get into through this event.
Wow.
So it's a real, I feel like it's a very inspiring space to be in.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see in person what it's like.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited
I
for you.
know.
Is this over like 2 days?
It's
Or
over 4 days.
4 days. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it'll be from Thursday to Sunday,
Yeah.
and it starts on Boxing Day, but Boxing Day is not a holiday in Korea.
Oh, okay. And is
yeah.
it what time? Like on Thursdays and Fridays, what time is it?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's pretty standard, like 10 to 4,
Oh.
5, like for the whole day.
But then people are working? No?
Yeah, I think during the weekdays, students come.
Oh, that makes sense.
More likely, yeah. And
Yeah.
then I think they anticipate Saturday to be the busiest, and then
Yeah.
it sort of tapers on Sunday.
Yeah, okay. What are you hoping to get out of this event?
I think for me, I just want to, like, I don't have any expectations from like a business standpoint, I guess.
Okay.
I think just experiencing what it's like to table internationally, I think is really fun. And also, as much as it is international, it's where I grew up and where I was born. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
When did you come here?
I came here when I was 4.
Oh, I
Yeah,
had no idea.
yeah. So it'll be nice to sort of be back where I grew up.
Yeah.
But don't remember a whole lot because I moved here when I was 4.
Yeah.
So I think it's more the experiences that I'm excited for.
Yeah.
And then it's a bonus if like I can sort of introduce myself in the Korean art space and
Yeah.
you know meet new people and get inspired by different artists there. Yeah.
Wow. And so how long will you be in Korea for?
For 3 months.
For 3 months. What are you going to be doing in those 3 months?
Lots of creating.
Oh.
I think I'm going to do I'm hoping to do a lot more like fundamental studies and exploring my illustrations.
Yeah.
I'm also wanting to try different ways I can express like that sort of illustration vibe in my clay as well. So lots of exploring, and I also have 2 other markets lined up, one for each month. So
in Korea. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so it'll be like I think it'll be a good like self-exploratory, experience.
Yeah. Okay. And so when you say exploring, like will you be taking classes or self-exploration?
I'm hoping to take classes, and so I think I'll try to take at least one.
Yeah.
Not too sure if I want to do maybe ceramics or like like illustrating fundamentals.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do both. But I think it will be a mix of like I go out and seek for classes and also try to practice on my own as well.
Yeah. Okay. And Tim's coming with you, right?
Yes.
For the whole 3 months?
Yes.
What is he going to do for 3 months?
He's probably going to cycle and run and just enjoy the sights and scenes of Korea.
Yeah. Has he been to Korea before?
It'll be his 4th time there.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's.
Do you guys go back together often? Is that why?
Yeah. And so we sort of joked about how it's slowly becoming his second home as well.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, because he knows all my family there now, and we're staying with my aunt for the whole 3 months, which will be really nice. But yeah, I think he'll be having a fun time as much as I am.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will he be working remotely?
So he can work remotely with his company.
Oh, nice.
So
what does he do?
He software engineer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's able to work remotely, and he got all the okays from his company.
Oh,
and
that's
HR
perfect.
And,
Where does he work?
For ResMed.
No way.
Yeah.
I interned there.
Really?
As like for industrial design.
Ah.
Yeah.
You guys can talk about
Oh my
it
gosh,
later.
yes. Except I was like, I can't work here because it's so far away.
Yeah, it's pretty far.
What are some of your goals overall for Seocat?
I think being able to just create what makes me happy, as cliche as it sounds. I think just, freely creating what like my heart sings for, what my heart yearns for, and hopefully evoking the same sort of feelings I get when I see artworks from the artists that I look up to in my work as well. Yeah, I think that's what I see.
Yeah. What about like from like a business point of view? Because I guess like now you're doing this full time.
That's true.
Yeah.
I guess I like thinking more of the like the woo-woo part of Seocat, but I think from a business standpoint, I guess, yeah, just hopefully making it like sustainable and continuing to make it sustainable as a full-time living. And at the same time, I guess, finding a balance that works for me, because I feel, and I'm sure many other artists feel this way, and I'm sure you feel this way as well, of it feels very 24/7 starting out, and then you sort of find boundaries and you know, strategies to make it a bit more balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think those are my business goals, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, it is hard, especially when you're working for yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, when do you stop? And then your work area is where you also live.
Yeah.
So,
It's like you have to create the boundaries. And,
yeah. Oh, well, good luck.
Thank you.
I'm so excited, and I'm really excited to watch your reels as well.
Thank you.
Because I do want to come along with you on your journey. Who knows, maybe I'll quit my job later and do this full time. But I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to support myself. Like, honestly, you're so brave.
No,
So courageous of you.
Thank you. It definitely is scary, but I think it's a plunge that I've been wanting to make for like a long time. And you know, if for whatever reason I do have to throw the towel in and reassess, I want that to be my decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Nice. How did you come about the name Seocat?
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
It's half of my Korean name and half of my English name.
Oh.
So I say Seo just because it's easier for most people to pronounce.
Yeah.
But it's technically Seocat because Seoyoung is my Korean name and Catherine is my English name.
Oh.
And so I just got a bit of both and put them together, and it happened to sound kind of cute, so I just stuck with it.
Nice. That's such a pretty name.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Seoyoung.
Soyoung.
Yeah.
And your last name is
Park.
Park.
Yeah.
So Park Soyoung.
Yeah.
You sound like a famous actress. All right, so we've heard a lot about your art and your business and Seocat. What about your life outside of that? Who are you outside of Seocat? Do you have any other hobbies? Or, yeah.
I think art is my biggest hobby.
That's so fair. Makes so much sense.
But
yeah.
outside of it, I think I enjoy hiking.
Oh.
Yeah, haven't been able to do it as much as I would have liked lately because I have injured my knee. But
oh, that's an injury that we talked about, right?
Yeah. So I enjoy hiking. Tim's introduced me to camping last year, which I also started enjoying. I think outside of that, I am a big gamer as well.
Really? Wait, what are you playing right now? Not that I'm a gamer, but
I play a lot of like multiplayer games with my friends because I like the social aspect as well.
Yes.
And so I play Valorant. I've been playing Overwatch like the last few weeks actually.
Yeah.
And then I do like playing a lot of like first player games as well. So what have I played recently? Have you heard of Katamari?
No.
It's like a cute little star prince, and he like rolls a big ball that picks up like everything that goes along his path, and
That's so cute.
it gets pretty crazy. He picks up like little, paper clips, and then you keep rolling it and he starts picking up whole buildings.
Oh my gosh, that escalated so fast.
Yeah, it's really cute.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm a big gamer, and I love my cat. I don't know if that's a hobby, but he's a big...
Where is he?
I don't know where he is. Yeah, he's a big part of my identity outside of... And I guess inside of Seocat as well. Yeah. So I think that's who I am outside of my art.
Oh, okay. And I think I heard before you mentioned that you gym as well.
Yes. Also something I haven't been doing as much because of my knee.
Because of your knee.
Yeah, but I am a big gym person. I did powerlifting before, and
like competition or
it was like a novice. So
Still, that's so cool. What the heck?
So did powerlifting, dipped my toe in dancing.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, I think those are other things that I love but haven't been able to do just because of physical limitations. But hopefully I get to do more of it in the future. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. How do you fit everything in? That's like a lot.
It was tough. I think when I was starting to really get into dance and like did like a class or two each week. Yeah, I think that was about my max. But I would train in the morning and then nap during the day and then go out to dance at night.
Train in the or like gym?
Like gym in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then have a bit of nap or do work and then go out in the evening again to dance. Yeah.
Did you ever feel any conflict in like the things that you were doing besides from your work, which you mentioned?
I think at that point in time, my art was pretty much on standstill. And so I think it is hard, and it's important to find that balance. But I think I feel like things like dance is also it's creative. Like you are expressing yourself in a creative way, and so maybe even though I wasn't making art necessarily, I was still getting creative fulfillment by like learning how to dance and expressing yourself that way. Yeah.
Okay. Well, keep me updated. I hope your knee recovers soon.
Thank you.
And then tell me later on how you're balancing everything. Well, I guess now that your part-time work isn't in the picture, jokes, you're just going to add more stuff
I probably
on.
Will, but,
Yeah.
I am hoping to do more like non-work related art, I guess. So I used to, I am adding more stuff, but I used to really love film photography like a few years ago. And so I'm hoping to bring that back into the mix now that I have a bit more time. And then I do want to try dancing again next year and see how that goes.
Yay, come take my class.
Yeah, I will.
What's your favorite part about tabling at markets?
I think the sense of community. Like, I think, and I felt it when I did project. I did one last weekend.
Oh, how was it?
Project Market Space. It was really sweet. Very like a smaller venue, but really intimate and like nice and chill because of it. And I think I love the sense of community, and it makes up for all the like the sleepless nights and crunching and being tired. Because as soon as you're there and set up and like you're saying hi to your artist friends or saying hi to the people that come to your stall and like having all those conversations, I feel like every time it makes my heart feel like so full. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think that's my like favorite part of. Yeah.
So it keeps you coming back for more.
Yeah. And it's also from like more of a, I guess, like a business standpoint. It's really nice to see like the faces behind people that buy your work as well, or that appreciate your work. Yeah, and so I guess that comes into community as well. But all of that, I think, adds up, and I'm like, I love doing markets. I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah. Okay. I was just thinking about this, but like now that you're doing this full time, do you feel the pressure of like needing to do more markets?
I think so.
Yeah.
And so I think I feel a lot more, it's pressure, but also a lot more determination to like lock in as many markets as possible now. And on top of that, I guess like trying to really put more energy into doing online store stuff as well, just to cater for maybe people that can't reach me locally, or like international people that might want to get something.
Yeah.
So I think, it's definitely like made me rethink about markets being like I think I need to take it a little bit more seriously than this like fun. It is still a fun thing, but having a bit more seriousness to it.
Okay, so then your mainstream of income will be like markets and also online shop.
I think so.
Anything else? Like, would you start Patreon or something?
I think Patreon is on the back of my mind, but I think I would I'd like to find sort of stability with my market and online store routine first. And then I think it will be like things like Patreon, or maybe like building a YouTube community or things like that might be another way streamline or have not passive but like another stream of income, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. How does one go about building a YouTube community?
I think just posting.
Okay.
I think as bad as it sounds, I think like just it's the same as making art. I think it's just creating videos and posting and seeing what works, what doesn't, and fine tuning until you sort of build your community and build and make the sort of content and like topics that you want to make.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. I'll think about it. Okay, so we talked about what you like about markets. Is there anything that you don't like when it comes to tabling?
I think definitely just the stress that can come with like the markets or leading up to the markets, because the pro and con of like being in a physical space where people can see your work and you can see who's enjoying your work is that you need to be prepared to present that well.
Yeah.
And so I think that's like, it's a big stressor that can happen at markets. And I think if it's not local, the traveling is a bit much. Yeah, can get tiring.
Yeah.
I think it's also because I'm more on the introverted side.
Oh, okay.
And so like if I do back to back, I do desire like hermit time afterwards. So I think that would be the only bad thing that I could think about. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, when you say back to back, do you mean like week after the other?
I think the worst that I've done was like having a week gap between.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Haven't done a back to back yet and don't know how that would go, but
yeah. Wow. Was that one Bloom and Soul and Momo?
Yes. And then I think the year before it was Mellow Sydney and then Smash.
Oh my gosh, those would have been both of them are so big. That would have been crazy.
So it was a bit crazy. I think for Smash, luckily I was like half tabling with a friend, so it was a little bit less pressure in that sense. But no. Do not recommend.
But then now that you're doing this full time,
and kind of have to recommend.
Last question. What about as an artist overall? Did you have anything that you kind of struggled with?
I think definitely like finding your style, which is why I think when I say that I feel like I haven't found it yet, but also I am coming to learn that it's not about like finding the style and then everything is okay again. I think it's just an ever ongoing journey that keeps changing and evolving. But I think that sort of mindset of needing the race to like find your style comes with like a lot of, insecurity or a lot of impatience and frustration, at least for me, of like, I want to find my style now. And then I think that has led to some days, where I feel a bit more insecure about my work and what I'm putting out and what I'm making more than other times. But I think that's something that like is a bit of an ebb and flow. I'll have days where I really love what I'm making and then other days not so much.
I see. That's so fair. But I'm glad that like you're more secure in that journey of finding your style and you're more at peace with it. Because honestly, from my perspective, I'm like, this is Seocat's style. Like, I personally feel like you have a really distinct style.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, but I guess the artist always feels different. Yeah.
I think so. But it's also like, it is also nice and reassuring to like hear that I do have consistency and there's a style there. Because I think in the eyes of the artist, like you are your own worst critic. So I think that's something that I suffer from as well.
That's so fair. But like your house earrings that I wear at every market, everyone knows that it's from you. Everyone always points to them like, oh my God, they're from Seocat, aren't they? And I'm like,
Wait, that's crazy.
Go check them out, guys.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so good to hear. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much
Thank you for
for talking to me. Is there anything else that you would like to share that I haven't really asked about, or anything at all? Anything that you would like people to know?
I think just I hope people like the reel series that I make, because I'm really enjoying the process so far.
Yeah.
And I hope with the reel series I can also show other artists how like not scary, or maybe scary sometimes, that Seoul, like prepping for an international market like Seoul illustration there can be. But I want it to be a series where like people can learn something from it, and they can take something away from it.
Yes.
And
I'm so excited.
Thank you.
One last quick question. Do you need to know Korean to partake in the Seoul Illustration Fair?
I don't think you do. I think it helps, but they have a separate international artist like booth area, and that's what I applied for.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I think the attendees anticipate that there are international artists that might not be able to speak Korean.
Okay. Have your own translator. Google Translate. But you don't need it because you know how to speak Korean. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
That will be the end of today.
Yay.
But yeah, again, thank you so much for answering all of my questions.
Thanks.
I know everyone will be so excited to learn more about you and your life.
I hope so.
Yay.